and welcome to Light for Life. If you are returning to our channel, thank you. We value and appreciate you. Our aim is to shine a bright light on your inner splendor and assist to connect you to your magnificence via what we intend to be enlightened sharing, potentially educational and hopefully entertaining information, as well as encouragement for new perspectives. If you are new here, you are most welcome. We do hope that you will find our content highly beneficial and enjoyable. I am Liz. I'm a Science of Mind practitioner and a teacher of various healing modalities applicable to all aspects of the self and this life.
And I am Lori. I am a holistic wellness researcher and educator. Welcome to Connections with Liss and Lori. We use the space to offer our perspective regarding multiple different topics that we certainly hope you find inspiring.
In today's episode, Lori and I are going to be discussing refusal. There's a lot of talk these days about acceptance and allowance and honoring. One doesn't hear all that much about refusal, if anything. And it is such an incredibly powerful and creative force. So, when do we accept and honor and allow? And when and why would we refuse? Well, the key to that lies in not just what has transpired and what is, but why. Most of us understand the power of now. It's big, right? Being present. But what very few of us understand is why the present is powerful. What is the power of now? Why does now possess this power? And in order to truly understand that, we have to understand the fact that we project our reality. So whatever is now is. So we have to accept it, allow it, and honor it. But to recognize that what I'm experiencing now is the past. This now present moment is my previous projection. So I can't hold the thought of worry, for example, now and think that it's only applicable to now. Because as I'm holding it now, I am projecting it into the future that I will journey to meet. So whether what I'm holding now is positive or negative, I am creating it for my experience of the future. So if something is presenting itself to me now, and it's something that I do not want, I don't have to accept that at face value. My future reality isn't real unless I say it is. So if something shows up in my reality now and I don't want it, guess what? I'm a free will sovereign being. I get to refuse. So perhaps in a previous moment, I projected a lack of some sort. And right now, my present self is getting to experience that lack. Okay, so it is. I have to accept it. I have to honor and allow the fact that this is my creation. I did this, created this for myself to experience. However, I can refuse to continue creating it. And while I accept and allow and honor what is, I can tell reality no more. From here on out, This is my chosen future. This is my chosen reality. This is my will. And I can refuse to accept what the mirror of reality is currently showing me. But what we do instead is we accept what is now, and we accept it as though it's immortal. We accept it as though it cannot shift and change. We honor and allow it as though we have no power over it, because we don't understand projection.
Took the words right out of my mouth. We are so focused on acceptance and the art of acceptance and the art of allowing. And, you know, even growing up with religion, it was really indoctrinated into us that, you know, we just accept what God gives us. We don't question, we just accept. And, you know, you've made your bed and now you've got to lie in it. And all of these other cliches that, you know, many of us have grown up with, that, you know, well, that's how it is. So you just learn to live with it. And it's unfortunate to lock in those beliefs. But what's great about the ability to spend time with yourself and look at some of your thoughts and your beliefs is that you do get to change them. You do have the ability to choose, that doesn't resonate with me anymore. That doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel accurate. It's certainly not what I want. I'm gonna start taking steps to change that, because like you said, a lot of us don't understand not only that it's a projection, but the video that we talked about sovereignty, I think is a key part here. Is we have to remember, as sovereign beings, we are inherently responsible for what it is that we do project. And if we're seeing on the screen a life before us that we don't really recognize, or just, you know, we want to change the channel, change the channel. Project onto that screen, to that mirror of life, what it is that might work better for your life and might work better for your work and your relationships, and what you do want as your outcomes. Like you said, it's nothing set in stone. It's not written in concrete that this must be so. Life is fluid. Decisions can be fluid. Thoughts can be fluid. Beliefs can be discarded. I'm not going to suggest that it's simply as tossing in a tissue into the garbage can, but why not? Doesn't have to be hard.
And reality can be shifted.
Yes.
When we are truly in our will, in our agency, and in our sovereignty, then our refusal, our no, is powerful and it's creative. And reality can shift. It's like in physics, and I'm going to misquote this probably, but something about an unstoppable force and an immovable something. Like what happens when an unstoppable force and an immovable object meet, like which one is stronger? It's that scenario. It's like, if I am immovable, if this unstoppable force of reality doesn't shift me, then reality must shift, because one of us has got to give. So in unconsciousness, it's always us that does the giving. It's always us that sink back into acceptance and allowing. Instead of standing our ground and going, no, and being so firm in that the appearance of reality has to shift instead.
Wow.
So when something happens that is undesirable, we can literally tell reality, no, oh no, that did not just happen. And if we are convinced of that fact, utterly,
yeah,
reality will shift and that will be rewritten.
And I don't want people to confuse this with a stubborn refusal to accept fact. This is completely different than stubbornness. This is a much more empowering version of refusal and co-creating, being a co-participant in creating our life. I mean, I guess it could look like stubbornness if you really think about it, but the truth of it is that it's stepping into our power, right? To say, no, 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 I'm not doing this. And even as I say this, I think of patterns of my own behavior that I didn't even see for many, 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 many years. And then all of a sudden you see it and you can't unsee it. And you think, oh, no, 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 no. No, I'm not doing that anymore. I am not doing that to myself anymore. I'm not doing that to my life anymore. No, no. That's not stubborn. That's just moving into the awareness that moment offered you and taking action on this new information that you never saw before, perhaps intentionally hid from yourself. But like I said, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
That's the thing, Lori. Stubbornness usually is inherently stupid. Stubbornness is only seeing one way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is a narrowed and usually small self, egotistical perspective, which is never true. And so it usually doesn't work. When we stubbornly cling to that one way, it's a force. It has no inherent power. It has no awareness. It has no insight. But when we are in our sovereignty, we are expanded. We see all possibilities, including the possibility that this thing that has just manifested can be miraculously undone. And so it is. And it is undone by my will and my choice, because I don't limit reality and I don't limit myself. I understand who I am, and I am in my power. So it is not a stupid and a stubborn and a narrow-minded this way or the highway approach to life. It's a, no, hang on. My choice is X. I don't accept Y. X, please. Thank you.
And I think the thank you is equally as important as the decision, right?
Yeah.
You know, we hear people talking about manifestation all of the time, right? You can do countless master classes on manifestation. There are many, 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 many teachers about manifestation. I would argue that they might not quite hit the target. Maybe some of them do, but I do think it has some merit to what we're talking about here, that when you start to see something that you don't want, it isn't just the act of saying no. It's also that what forward movement, that impetus to move forward with the change, changing the channel and supporting, reinforcing, putting energy into that new decision is being made. You know, it's got to be followed up with some kind of action or some kind of energy, right? That we sometimes can even use imagery with. We can feel what it is that we do want. You know, we're saying no, but this. We don't want to just create a void by saying no. We want to fill in that void with a thing, right? With that new pattern of behavior, with that new decision, with that new thought is it needs to be supported. Needs a little movement.
It's about speaking truth after the refusal.
Right.
Because reality may be fact. But what is the chosen truth that is higher than that? So, for example, I was 21 and my husband was 24 when we went to have a picnic in the park. Young, naive, clueless. I had a feeling before we left that we shouldn't go. But I didn't want to spoil the planned day for everybody, so I ignored my intuition.
Yeah.
And while we were there, a group of 4 men attempted to rob us.
Yeah.
And at one stage, they had grabbed our car keys and our wallets, and they'd run off. And my husband and his dad took off after them down a path in the park.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them turned around and pulled out a massive knife and literally came running at my husband's stomach with the knife ready to go.
Wow.
And I was watching from about, I'm terrible with distance, but maybe 8 meters away down the path. I saw this unfolding. And in that moment where time slows down and it's just drenched in all the horror of that moment, I literally thought I was going to watch my husband die on his birthday. But I changed that thought immediately and I was just like, no, this is not going to happen. And not a word of a lie, Lori. If this was my hubby and this was the knife, he literally came at him to stab him and stopped. And he pulled his arm back to do it again and stopped. And he pulled his arm back to do it again and stopped. So the force of that no was literally a force field of protection around my husband because there was nothing there. And this man literally tried, not once, not twice, but 3 times to stab my husband in the stomach.
Wow.
And eventually when he realized he's not going to get it right, he dropped the knife and ran off.
Wow.
And this is one of 16 examples I could sit and give you of the power of refusing to accept reality in real time while you're watching it unfold.
Wow.
This is our power. When we understand our will, when we understand who and what we are, it's a force. And the force field of refusal is incredibly powerful when we don't accept what reality is trying to bring into our experience if it is not what we choose.
Wow, I am speechless. But and of course, you know, I can't help but agree. And you could probably think of situations with your children is that mama bear energy is absolutely a force to be reckoned with, right? And we joke, nobody wants to mess with a mama bear, but it is so true. We are literally connected with our children through that love vibration, that love frequency. And that does have a force. And it's obviously you've just demonstrated it isn't just our children, is love has a force and it can be equally as powerful, if not even more powerful than any other force. Use it.
Exactly. And so the question is, to what extent are we using that force of love for ourselves?
Right. Right.
In our own lives with what we do and don't choose to experience.
Right.
Do I love myself enough to say no when reality doesn't match up to my desires? To refuse to accept a past creation's current manifestation. Just because it's being handed to me on a plate doesn't mean I have to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
I can say, no, thank you. I don't like that. I don't want that. Bring me something else. And life will comply because that's the truth about the universe. You and I were discussing this about a week or so ago. You can think of the universe as a giant restaurant. And with our desires, we are ordering from their menu. We pay with the moments of our lives. And just like we wouldn't go to a restaurant, get out the menu, decide what we want, place our order, and then when something else comes, just accept that, oh, okay, well, this is what came. So I guess they got my order wrong. I'm just going to have to eat this thing that I didn't order and don't want. We'd be like, no, excuse me, I didn't order this. Want this? Kitchen and bring you the order that you want. The universe is not any worse than a restaurant on the corner. But can you imagine so many people live their lives going to that same restaurant, ordering what they want, getting something they don't like and eating it anyway. And then they go back there and they do it again. And they go back there and they do it again. You don't have to do that. If the order that came is wrong, send it back.
Yeah. It's such a powerful analogy, and you did get frozen there a little bit, but I'm hoping that the message wasn't lost, because it's probably the most powerful analogy I have ever heard. If we are not using that power, of course we're going to be served that which we do not want, that which we did not desire and we don't like. I can't think of a more powerful analogy. And I think where we stumble a little bit is not only not understanding that we don't have that power, not knowing how to use that power, but I think a lot of people might feel as though that's playing God somehow. And the way that I would answer that would be that if we don't use our own power, we're victims to life. We're victims to circumstance. We're victims to the outcomes that unfold, because we didn't even know that we had the power to co-create our life and to ask for what we want. Just like we ask for what we want at the restaurant, we get to ask life for what we want. And we get to expect
We
that
are
we're
free will
the right
beings. Yes, we are free will beings. The universe is not sitting on our will. And if we don't correct misplaced orders,
yeah,
whose job is it to do that for us?
right.
We can't then go and write a bad review about the restaurant when we didn't speak up and say, excuse me, no, I didn't order this. This isn't what I want. I'm going to say, oh, what a terrible restaurant. They made me eat. But they didn't. That was your choice. It's the same with the universe. If the order's not right, politely put your finger in the air and go, excuse me, no, this isn't what I ordered. Thank you. Bring me what I want.
Thank you.
What we have will for.
Yeah. Thank you for connecting with Light for Life. If you appreciate reminders, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can receive those notifications. If you would like to work with one of us, you can find our contact information in the About section of this channel.
Yes, thank you for connecting with Light for Life. Please share your insights, your questions, and your comments with us in the comment section below. We value your feedback. And we really hope that we will see you for our next episode. We upload one every Thursday. Until then, bye-bye and be joyful.
Until we connect again, we send you love and light.